active. Vishaka is shocked. He seems very angry. He says, "Where were you gone?" And she says, "I went to go get water," but she does not have the water pot. And that is when Raibhia sees that Aravasu is following with the waterfalls. First, he thinks that something is happening between Vishaka and Aravasu. But then he realizes that Aravasu is too simple for something like that to happen. And when he asks, "Was there anyone else?" So he says, "Nitilai was there." And then he asks, "Was there anyone else?" And Aravasu looks at Vishaka because he does not know what to say. So Vishaka says that, "I was feeling faint, so I fell down," and that's when Aravasu came, and that's why he's carrying the water. All right. So Raibia says that, "How convenient, you fainted, and that moment itself he was there to help you." He does not believe it. Okay, so he knows that someone else was there. He starts hitting Vishaka very badly. He starts hitting her. All right, and then that is when Aravasu can't see. He tries to hold his father back. He asks his sister-in-law to run away. All right, but Raibia says that, "I want the truth and I'll kill her if necessary. I want to know who was there. Okay, I know how to handle her." And he keeps hitting her. All right, and that is when Vishaka also gets angry, and she says, "Yes, there was somebody else. There was Yavaraki, and he came to see me there alone." So now they understand, that Raibia understands that she has probably been in a relationship with Yavaraki, and something has happened between them. And he starts swearing at her, and he says that, "I can reduce you. So I can reduce you to ashes." All right, with a simple curse മതി അത് ചെയ്യാൻ, but I won't do it because I will let your husband come and clean up his mess. Okay, Paravasu will come and clean up his mess. I am not going to do, but I will challenge Yavaraki. All right, so he goes with that plot of water. He does some mantras, and he conjures a Brahma Rakshasa. All right, he conjures a Brahma Rakshasa to kill Yavaraki, and he tells Vishaka that, "If you want your lover to be saved, tell him to go and hide in his father's hermitage, because that is my brother's home, and I will not make it impure. I will not make my brother's house impure. So if he manages to stay inside that hermitage for 24 hours and remain away from the Brahma Rakshasa, I myself will commit suicide." Okay, so Vishaka begs him for forgiveness, but he does not listen. So she tells Aravasu, "We must warn Yavaraki." So she sends Aravasu to the hermitage, and she herself goes looking for Yavaraki on the cliff where he was supposed to meet Aravasu. She goes there and she sees yes, before that, Aravasu goes to Andaka and says that, Yavaraki's life is in danger, you have to tell him. Then Vishaka goes to Yavaraki and says that, "Please go to your father's house." Okay, but Yavaraki does not agree. He is a very, very proud man. He says that, to invoke the Kritya spell, the spell that creates the Brahma Rakshasa, is to engage one's full powers. നമുക്കുള്ള പവർ മുഴുവൻ ഉപയോഗിച്ച് അത് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. ഇത്രയും വലിയ പവർ ഉപയോഗിച്ച് എന്നെ പോലെ ഒരു സാധാരണക്കാരനെ കൊല്ലാനാണല്ലോ നോക്കിയത് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ, "I feel proud" എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുന്നു. Okay, and that's when he says that, that water that he had collected from that pot that Aravasu was carrying, he has done some mantra and he has consecrated it. Okay, he has made it into some sort of a magical water, and he says, "A drop of this water and the Brahma Rakshasa will become numb. He cannot do anything. He will become powerless." All right, uncle's threat to me will turn into a farce, and then he will have to kill himself. Okay, Vishaka says that, "But ഇതിന്റെ ഒന്നും ആവശ്യമില്ലല്ലോ. Why do you want to engage with that Brahma Rakshasa? You can just go and hide in your house. All right, once you go there, I will be happy to see my father-in-law die. I hate him" എന്ന് പറയുന്നു. Okay, so that is when Yavaraki reveals things. He says that, "I am very happy that you are here to save me and console me, but you have to understand, this is not about me and you." Okay, so what is it about? This is a challenge. He says that the past isn't gone. Okay, when he says that his father was always humiliated by Raibhya, who was his brother. Even though his father was a very, very brilliant person, a very learned man, he never got the honors that he deserved, because Raibhya always took away the honors. He always grabbed all the honors, and he humiliated his brother. All right, and his father was always humiliated by Raibhya, and now is the time for him to take revenge. And he says that the reason that he went to search for universal knowledge was also to take this revenge. He wanted to become greater than Paravasu. He wanted to become greater than Raibhya, and that is the reason why he went for that penance also. Even though his father, who was a very good man, he did not agree to all of this. And he says that I hated him for agreeing to all that. Even when Paravasu was called to be the chief priest, it should have been my father. But I know my father, he must have gone and congratulated Paravasu instead of saying something. Okay, so he says that even when Lord Indra came to him, okay, he says that if you want to receive the knowledge, you have to get rid of these passions, this serenity, this objectivity, all that is yours. ഇതുപോലത്തെയുള്ള മെറ്റീരിയൽ കാര്യങ്ങളെല്ലാം ഉപേക്ഷിക്കണമെന്ന് പറയുന്നു. But he shouted back and he says that no, that's not the knowledge. അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു knowledge അല്ല എനിക്ക് വേണ്ടത്. Because this obsession, this hatred, this venom, the vesham that is there inside him, the hatred that he has for his uncle and his sons, that is what makes him himself. And he wants the knowledge to become destructive. Okay, he does not want to become godlike. He wants to use the knowledge to become destructive, to destroy Raibhya and his family. And Vishaka is saying, that I just want to save you. So that's when Yavraki says that, don't you understand? None of this was an accident. Okay, this was a challenge that I issued. Why do you think Aravasu came to that spot at the correct time? Remember, he had already told Aravasu to meet him there at that correct time. He said that time, ആ സമയം കറക്റ്റായിട്ട് എത്തിയിരിക്കണമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നു. And he had been waiting there for 4 days, so he knows the exact time when Vishaka will come. Okay, so Vishaka says that it's my fault. I should never have yielded to you. ഞാൻ ഒരിക്കലും നിന്റെ കൂടെ വരേണ്ടതല്ലായിരുന്നു. So Yavraki says that it's good that you yielded. നീ എന്നോട് സംസാരിക്കാനും എൻ്റെ കൂടെ വരാനും ഒക്കെ അഗ്രി ചെയ്തത് നന്നായി. Because if you did not, I would take you by force. He would use force upon her. He would have raped her എന്ന് പറയുന്നു. Okay, so he says, I am sorry that you had to be a part of this. I have always loved you, but it is not my fault that you became Paravasu's wife. Okay, so right now he is not looking at Vishaka as the girl that he loved. He is looking at Vishaka as Paravasu's wife, and she became an instrument in his plan of revenge. Okay, and that is when Vishaka understands that all he has used her to get to her father-in-law, to get to her husband. So she says that I was so happy this morning. I thought that everything was good. Okay, ഈ ലോകത്തിലെല്ലാം അങ്ങനെയാണ്. When I started becoming happy with my husband, he left me to become a chief priest. When I found happiness again in you, you are also telling me that you have used me like a tool. Okay, so while Yavraki wasn't looking, Vishaka goes and she takes that pot of water that he has consecrated and that he has sanctified, and she pours that water out. അപ്പോഴാണ് Yavraki notice ചെയ്യുന്നത്. She says, no, stop, don't doing the sanctified water. അതാണ് എൻ്റെ ജീവിതം, that is my life. Okay, he tries to gain the water, but there is not even a drop left. And he says that, oh, just a drop, you devil, I trusted you, he says. And he's very, very frightened because suddenly he can hear the Brahma Rakshasa coming. Okay, Vishaka says, hurry, go to your father's hermitage, hide there. Okay, run, she says. And Yavraki starts saying, I am not here to run away. I have triumphed over Indra, the lord of gods. ഞാൻ ഇന്ദ്രനെ വരെ തോപ്പിച്ച ആളാണ്. Why should I run away? You are no one to order me എന്ന് പറയുന്നു. She says, go, and she pushes him. Okay, suddenly Yavraki realizes that he will be killed by the Brahma Rakshasa, and he starts to run. And that is when Vishaka turns and sees that the Brahma Rakshasa is standing beside her. She faints when she sees him because he looks so dangerous. So Yavraki somehow reaches the hermitage where he is met by Andaka Baba, but obviously Andaka Baba is blind. He does not realize who has come. Because Yavraki is running in so much speed, he cannot recognize the footsteps of Yavraki, and he does not let him enter. ആരാണ്? കാരണം അവനോട് നേരത്തെ അരവസ വന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നു that Yavraki's life is in danger, so he thought it's someone coming to attack. So he does not let Yavraki enter, and Yavraki is speared by the Brahma Rakshasa. Okay, ഒരു spear, ഒരു trident, ഒരു ട്രൈഡൻറ്റ് എടുത്തിട്ട് ആ 3 കൊമ്പുള്ള ആ ഒരു ട്രൈഡൻറ്റ് എടുത്തിട്ട് the Brahma Rakshasa, the demon, kills Yavaraki, and he collapses in Andaka's arms. And that is when Andaka realizes that it was Yavaraki who has died. The Brahma Rakshasa goes away, alright, and he tries to wake Yavaraki up but realizes that he's dead. Aravasu comes running and he realizes what has happened. He stands frozen with horror. And I did not recognize your step. Why couldn't I recognize your steps? Okay, remember we when earlier when Aravasu was trying to fool Andaka with different footsteps, Andaka was very proud of his power to always recognize a man by his footsteps, and now he's feeling very he's lost Yavaraki, who is like a son, who is a son to him. Okay, and he said he is very sad about the fact that he could not recognize Yavaraki's steps. And that is where Act 1 ends, with Yavaraki's death. Alright, I hope this was clear. Next day we'll move on with Act 2. Thank you.